Do you know someone who is functional on the outside, but fractured on the inside? Protesting. Is it changing anything? Let's start thinking differently. If protests really worked, there would be visible change. We are still protesting. There has been no change. Actually, things have been getting worse. Why? Because when we are anti something, whatever we are anti has to exist. Healing with the Rev podcast is going to bring you comfort, build community, and give you some inspiration to move forward. Pro peace. For those of you who are old enough to remember who Mother Teresa was, Mother Teresa during the Vietnam War was asked to come to an anti-war rally. She said, I will not be there, but when you have a peace rally, invite me, I will come. She understood the difference between anti whatever and peace. So let's be for peace. And peace does not mean sitting on your butt doing nothing. It's very active. I'm Reverend Teresa Heipel. I am your host of Healing with the Rev podcast. I have lost loved ones to death. I am here to honor your faith tradition, and here you can find peace, calm, and clarity. Peace starts with community building, one person at a time, standing for something rather than against something. When we stand for, we're taking a stance for what we want. Anti-war, anti-ICE, or whatever is going on today as you are listening to this, whatever we are anti really does have to exist. We're giving power over to whatever it is we are wanting to not exist. If we want to abolish something, we need to be pro whatever that is. For this, we want pro peace. We want to be for peace. I don't think anyone would argue with me about that, but they haven't changed their mindset from something negative to something positive. So let's build something positive in this world. Peace building starts with faith. Whatever your faith is, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Islam, or anything else, I say have a faith in a higher power somewhere, because life gets difficult. And when life gets difficult, sometimes we don't know what to do with that. Building with faith, people are coming together. They're learning together. They're expounding their beliefs. They're expounding justice. And aren't we all wanting social justice? Seriously. Drum circles. It's a great way to release pent-up emotions. At my church, we have a drum circle. And when I go there, I can pound on the djembe drums, as you'll see on this picture. There's a lot of djembe drums. It's a great way because you can come up with your own rhythm and you can come up with your own chant in your head. It's pretty awesome. The podcast format, we're going to have real stories. I'm probably going to be talking more than doing interviews. I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I'm going to give you some practical tips and some uplifting interviews as we go along. Expressions of heartache, honoring our pain. This woman is feeling the weight of her loss. Whatever that loss is, she is not sure she wants to face reality. Sometimes reality is really difficult because reality is not someplace where we want to be. But we are here and we are now. And if you're listening to this, you're paying attention. So you are present in this moment. She appears to be afraid to see what is in front of her, whether she lost a spouse or a friend or a child or lost a job, gone into retirement, doesn't know what to do with her time. There's so many different kinds of ways of heartache, so many expressions of heartache. And whatever you're feeling, know that you are in great company and everything you feel is all good. And so I would ask you to continue to watch these podcasts because they're going to be informative. Some of them are about loss of some sort. Some of them are about these protests and peace and how we can move forward. Honor yourself by doing what is right for you in the moment. Welcome back to Steady by Design. I'm Teresa. Today we're going somewhere that takes some courage. We're talking about the feeling of being judgmental, critical of others or of yourself. I'll be honest with you, this is one of the emotions I have the most personal experience with, because judgment, particularly self-judgment, was one of the primary ways I managed uncertainty for most of my life. If I could identify what was wrong with everyone and everything, including myself, at least I felt like I had some control. I wonder if that resonates with you. Let's go deeper. Surface it. Surface it. What does judgment feel like? Judgment is often a very mental emotion. Lots of thoughts, lots of evaluating, lots of comparing, but it does have a body component, a tightening in the chest or throat, a kind of rigidity, the sense of being very certain, very fixed in a perspective, sometimes a self-righteous energy, almost energizing in the moment, and often underneath a quiet exhaustion from the constant vigilance of monitoring and evaluating. Judgment toward others often feels powerful in the short term, But notice, does it leave you feeling more connected, more at peace, or more isolated and contracted? Judgment toward yourself feels like running internal commentary, a critical voice that notices every mistake, every inadequacy, every gap between who you are and who you think you should be. Where is judgment living in you right now? Understand it. What judgment is protecting? Here is the core insight that changed my relationship with my own critical voice. Judgment is almost always a protection strategy. When we judge others harshly, we are often unconsciously distancing ourselves from something in them that frightens us in ourselves. Carl Jung called this projection. We see in others what we have not yet faced in ourselves. When we judge ourselves harshly, we are often trying to beat the outside world to the punch. If I say it first, if I name my own failures louder than anyone else can, maybe the criticism from outside won't land as hard. Neither of these actually works, but both of them make a certain kind of sense given how they were formed. The question beneath judgment is almost always, am I enough? Am I safe? Am I acceptable? And judgment is the brain's attempt to answer those questions through control rather than through genuine security. When we come back from the break, we will talk about move through it and anchor it. Let's pause here for just a moment. This is what I call the steady moment. A pause to remember that peace in the world begins with peace inside us. One thing I've learned from working with people over many years is that the world does not become peaceful through more reaction. It becomes peaceful through more steadiness. When your nervous system is regulated, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your presence alone begins to influence the people around you. That's the work I do through what I call steady by design. I help people regulate stress, restore clarity, and return to peace, both in their bodies and in their lives. Because when we become steady inside ourselves, we stop reacting to chaos and begin creating stability in the world around us. And that is where real peace begins. Book your discovery call using this QR code. Now, let's continue. Welcome back. Let's continue on with Move Through It. Move Through It, softening the grip. I want to invite you into a small experiment. Think of someone or something about yourself that you've been judging harshly. Now ask yourself, what am I afraid this means? What am I protecting myself by holding this judgment? You might find fear of being wrong, fear of being like them, fear that if you release the judgment, you're condoning something, fear that if you stop criticizing yourself, you'll stop improving. None of those fears require judgment to address. They require curiosity, honesty, and sometimes courage. Take a breath and for just a moment, hold the person or situation you've been judging with a little more open space. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like what they did. You just have to be willing to be a little less certain that you have the full picture. That softening, that single degree of openness is where healing and growth live. Anchor it, the gift within the critical voice. Your critical faculty is not inherently the enemy. Your ability to assess, discern, hold standards, these are valuable. The invitation is to take that same capacity, that same discernment, and apply it with compassion rather than contempt to yourself, to others. Discernment says, that choice was harmful, and I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. Judgment says, that person's irredeemable. You get to keep the discernment. You can release the contempt. Your anchor. I can hold standards and still hold compassion. I release the need to condemn in order to feel safe. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe here. Your follow and subscribe allows me to make better quality content for you. I will bring in guests on occasion. If this message resonates with you, I bring the Steady by Design framework to organizations, communities, and events that want to lead with clarity instead of reaction. I'd love to continue the conversation. This was a courageous one. Thank you for going there. Steady by Design is in beta at steady-by-design.netlify.app. Until next time, stay steady. You were designed for this.